Welcome to the Outside the Business Boxes podcast, where we're talking about how to ignite your business today for the future using systems for everything you do in your business to make your life, your employees' lives, and your customers' lives easier for you to ultimately enjoy your business and, of course, make more money. I'm your host, Chad Murray. Thank you for joining me here at Outside the Business Box. I am Chad Murray, your host today. We're just going to get in some trouble today and listen at your own risk, because today we're going to get really into the mindset and how to actually really start building your culture. Everybody has a culture. We know that. I'm not going to bore us today with, what you need to do or don't do with your culture. I will tell you this. When you are working on all the little things in your business, like how-tos, how to train, how to do this, how to do that, how to up your prices, and everything you're trying to do. The one thing you've got to mix in this, like I said last week, is you've got to intentionally work on your culture. So I'm going to have you listen to this one little video here really quick to get us in the right mindset, the correct mindset on everything we're going to do to show you the system of how you start working on intentional culture.
Jack Welch once said, "Change before you have to." How true that is. Championship leaders understand that in order to remain relevant and competitive, they must foster a culture that embraces change. When you think about the brands that have been around for 100 plus years, how they looked in the beginning is much different than how they look now. They changed. The brands they once competed with no longer exist. Why? They didn't change. Grace Hopper once said, "The most dangerous phrase in language is, 'We've always done it this way.' As the leader, you must relentlessly fight this mindset. Don't allow your team to focus on how things used to be, because used-to-bes don't make honey. Instead, focus on how things are gonna be. Gonna-bes make honey. Gonna-bes have a clear vision of the future and how they need to grow in order to become that better version of themselves. They understand constant growth requires constant change. Remember what John Maxwell once said, "Change is inevitable. Growth is optional." Close your eyes and visualize what things will look like in 3 years. How will you need to evolve in order to meet that vision and be a front runner in your space when the time comes? What changes do you need to make? Start making those changes now. As the leader, you have the remote. If you don't like the channel you're on, nobody can change it but you. So stand up and change it. And don't be afraid of the naysayers. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do what you feel is right, for you will be criticized anyways. Trust your instincts. Pursue your vision. Even if no one else sees it, just start the journey. The others will follow. And stay ready. New levels will bring new devils. But the higher you climb, the stronger you'll get. Take pride in being a professional problem solver as you rise. Remind your team that every change you make is an effort to get better. You don't change for the sake of changing. Like Jim Rohn said, life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. At the core behind every big change is a why, and that why is to get better.
That was J.B. Kellogg, Big Change. You can find that on YouTube anywhere. He has a whole series of stuff that I presented to my company and many of my employees about motivational leadership. And they're just 2 to 3 minutes long. But I mean, when you listen to these, especially in an order of how you're going to give them to your employees and management, I mean, you really can start building an intentional culture. So change is for you. Change is for the company. First, change has got to be the mindset of you. You have to evolve and change here. You're going to evolve your culture to a better culture, a good culture to a great culture. And you're going to do that while you're involving everything else that you're trying to implement. A lot of guys out there in a lot of industries I'm coaching, how do I train my guys? How do I find people that want to work nowadays with the unemployment and the millennials or whatever? It's all just excuses. Yes, it has gotten harder. I admit that. But I've also said, I believe on other podcasts, if not, I've said it to many people lately, McDonald's is hiring for $20 an hour, right? But where is that same person who goes works at McDonald's for that $20 an hour 6 months later? He ain't working at, or she ain't working at McDonald's. That's my point. You got to give them a good place to come to work. We do not have a problem starting someone at $15 an hour in Texas and in Oklahoma. Maybe that's the case where you're at. But is it you, or is it everybody around you saying you can't do it? I'm giving everybody a future. I'm giving them the culture and the belief that if they work for it and I give them the tools to succeed, that they will have a successful career here. And I didn't say a job, a career. I've evolved my culture into come work for me. It's a great place to work. To come work for me. I'm going to give you the future that you wanted, that you probably couldn't get anywhere else. And if you did, you couldn't get it the way we're going to give it to you. So this is the mindset of the entrepreneur, the business owner, management. You have to evolve the culture in your head first. So this is the system. I spent 6 months on videos just to my management. And for me too. I'm included. I'm learning with them how to evolve this culture. Now I'm passing it on to you. And so I know it's in the last 3 months I've been beating down how great our company has become. And I got to tell you, it's all true. We literally did almost $1 million worth of business in addition to our normal business in 4 or 5 months. I actually got our numbers back again and was looking at them again this weekend and was like, we had so many less people working for us, yet we did and made up $1 million more with less crews, less, more educator salespeople. I will admit that, but less crews and less call center. Take a little drink there. So how did I do it? I keep telling everybody, the reason I keep podcasting about this and why today I'm giving you the system, because it is such a crucial point in growing people. It matters. You have to start with you guys. So, okay, so you show a few videos, you do this for a little while, and you get everybody in management on board. Because they're probably already there, but they may need a mindset a little bit where we're going with this company. We are going to show people, prove to people who we are every day. And every week you're going to show them a video. You can go through the J.B. Kellogg series. You can just keep going. And when you go to YouTube and you find these leadership videos over on the right, when it says suggested other videos, you'll find thousands more to do that all say different things that'll help you grow your culture. And so we've done that. So let's talk about this. So what's the next thing that you should do? Well, obviously you're going to start presenting this videos one by one, weekly in weekly meetings to your people. You talk about it a little bit. We're talking 5-minute culture a week. But that 5 minutes is inspirational. Because now everybody's backing up what they're saying with not just because I showed up for a paycheck, because it's now starting to get into your soul. And that's where this all comes. What is culture? Culture is not talking to their minds. It's talking to their hearts. It's getting into their soul. And it matters. I told that story last week, about the guy that worked at the casino and the hotel, the coffee guy. I mean, that matters. I've seen that change in my people. I've seen good employees become outstanding employees. And so part of the system here is we're going to bleed this down. Now, that's easy to do that. And then obviously, if you don't follow it up, you've got to make sure that you're walking the walk and talking the talk, and you're doing that. And you make sure that everybody's accountable to that. So let's get into what we were just saying. So what is it about showing these minutes, these little things. That was your management style. Right now, I'm going to show you a video that I show people in onboarding. Now we do the video with John, my general manager, and I, my wife, and I talk about the business. Then I'm going to show you this other one from JB Kellogg that says "You Matter." Watch this.
I was asked to share with you all something about leadership. And as I began to think about the things that I could say about leadership, my mind went to the typical things you would think of: courage, communication, commitment, patience, empathy. The things that are most visible to us all in the practice of leadership. But as I thought more about the position we find ourselves in and what we might need to reflect upon, I started hearing two words: you matter. You matter. You see, courage is necessary, yes. So is communication. And you're likely not getting far without commitment and patience. But in order to even embody those things or be willing to, you must first be convinced, find confidence in, and likely be reassured of the fact that you matter. I don't even know if anyone has told you this recently, but you matter. Each and every one of us matters. We matter to each other. We matter to our families, our communities. If you don't believe me, think about this. In the middle of a season of uncertainty, each and every one of us has been asked to spend our days not focusing on ourselves, but to focus outwardly and primarily do one thing: serve people. We serve colleagues, we serve friends and family, the communities we are part of, and so likely that means Monday through Sunday, no compromise, no excuses, and likely very little rest. So in the remaining minutes I have, I'm going to remind you again, you matter. We matter. Even if it's just for one person, each of us has been asked to play a role. Doesn't matter how big or small it is, we can help someone navigate their livelihood, their dreams, goals, ambitions, and potentially the very act of keeping food on their table and keeping food on our tables. If that's not a reminder of your significance, I probably should start over. At this very moment, you may not feel successful. Still, you matter. You may feel small. Still, you matter. Unimportant and outright ill-equipped. Doesn't matter, you matter. You might feel beat up, frustrated, confused, paid less than you think you should, but that doesn't change the fact that you are where you are, and it's in a position of significance, and everything you think, say, or do today does matter, because you matter. So, I have some homework for you. Take a look in the mirror. Take a selfie, take a screenshot, whatever it needs to be. Spend a few seconds and look at yourself and say to yourself, I'm looking at someone who matters. Do it because you do. From there, I want you to tell someone else, whether it's a DM, a phone call, a text message, or an email. Tell someone else on your team or your inner circle how much they matter. Every day matters. All the time it matters. And it matters because you matter. It matters because we matter.
I'm sorry, that was the same series, but that's actually written and narrated by Darius Bell. So you can find a lot of his works on YouTube as well. But yeah, think about, you just started this company, or you showed this to your company, and you got guys that are, not understanding what you're doing and things like that, and we're showing them that we care and that you matter. So back to the last video, though, I mean, one of the things that you're going to be dealing with as you start working on change in your culture with everything else, as you're growing your business and really doing some things that a lot of people may not like, but you're going to hear a lot of people, like you said in that first video, they're going to say, well, we didn't used to do it like this, or we don't do it like this. And the phrase that just smacked me right on that video is, used to bees don't make honey, gonna bees make honey. And then bringing it to this video, you got to feel like you matter to make honey as well. And we're tying in, the feelings of your business here. Everybody goes to do a job, to do the physical act of what we offer. You can go to McDonald's, you can be an accountant, you can be a lawyer, you can be a plumber, you can be an electrician, right? But are you there for all the right reasons? And are you giving your employees and management the reasons? They matter. The message matters. This is why I ask people a lot of times, like, do you have a mission statement or do you have a core values? And you know, it's the one thing to have them written them down. It's another thing to actually actively talk about it, work on it, and prove it. And I think a lot of, especially smaller businesses tend to really get so caught up in the production of the physical act of doing their chores, of their offering of what they service and do, provide to the community, whatever they do, that they do forget, these people are your work family. And when you're working on a family and you're the leader, you're the daddy, and then becoming the grandpa or grandma or mother, whatever you are in your business, they look up to you. And it is a forgotten thing a little bit. And maybe a lot of times I hear a lot of entrepreneurs and owning any type of business, not just service business, blue collar worker or businesses, is that they don't feel like the employees give it to them, like aren't as thankful to them for everything they do. Well, the one thing that you have to learn when you're running a company, and I think a lot, and I've been here, man, I have been here, where what you have to learn is you don't owe them anything and they don't owe you anything. And it's hard to think like that when everything that you do, but look at what you've done when you've worked for other people and you feel like you've worked for them and worked your ass off for them, done whatever you've done for them. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of times you probably got treated like crap, didn't get paid for what you're worth. And the fact of the matter is, you quit. So now all of a sudden you own your own business. When the cycle ends up coming in, and you wanted that dream business, you wanted to give everybody, the culture you wished you had. That's like the dream of the beginning of the business. And then you start getting into the business, and now it's just all about, well, we got to do this correctly. We've got to upcharge here. We've got to sell here. We've got to, we made mistakes here. Don't do that again. And we're on this cycle of always finding the negatives and always, always just trying to make things better for you, for the business owner. And when you find out that your job isn't for you, it's for them, you start to understand it. Now, there's a difference in knowing it and doing it, or wishing you had that. Those three things are stages of actually intentionally working on your culture. So, complaining that you can't find people and blaming everything on the market, the presidency, the virus, blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, there's a lot of people out there who figured it out during it, before that, even, that it never affected their business. I actually started intentionally working on it right in the beginning of the, about a year later, 2021, and look what it did for me. Intentionally working on culture. Now, don't get me wrong. We're talking 5 minutes a week here. So I've probably had the last 4 or 5 podcasts about culture. Why? That's a lot of podcasts to talk and chat with Chad about culture and trying to make that into your people. Well, all I keep hearing, I've got a lot of new clients. So I've got 7 or 8 new clients over the last couple months. And one of the first things that we talk about in our first time we talk is they'll tell me how great their employees are. And then in the same sentence, will tell me how much their employees are not that great. It's like, well, you just got done telling me they're so great. And then as we got into more into this, that, the other, all of a sudden, well, they're not doing this right. They're not doing that right. And now, even though you say your employees are great, but then you have this list of stuff that they don't do. And then I ask one simple question. And if you, one of my new clients, you've been through this, it's like, well, why do they do that? Well, it's because you allow them to do that. You're not giving them vision to not do that. But, I'm in the chimney business, everybody knows. And so I coach a lot of chimney businesses. And one of the things I've found out over the years coaching them is that a lot of chimney companies out there don't do everything the chimney's telling them the chimney needs. They have it in their head that, well, the chimney doesn't need waterproofing. The chimney doesn't need the flash sealed. I mean, or why would I put a full mount chimney cap on? Now, everybody who's not in the chimney business, all those are things that if you look at a chimney, you may not know if it needs it or not. But everything I just said solves water leaks 100%. You never have callbacks. And when you commit to doing all these things, you're doing the right thing for the chimney and ultimately right for the customer. It does cost more, but it's not like 500% more, And so, and you're building this relationship with your customers that you solve their issue. No more a la carting. It's another thing. We don't let any customers a la carte bids. I'm not a believer in the best, better, best, whatever thing. Now there are options, but I don't, and the options are this, but when it comes to whatever your service is, and this is what it's going to take to know that it's going to be the ultimate solution, then that's what you offer. Now, I know there's some things that you can do from electrical and plumbing that might be a little bit of well, we can do this and that'll hold for a year, but then, that's only about as long as it's going to last. I'm going to tell you right now, when you shift to the model of, well, we need to replace the unit versus that, not only will your customer be more happy in the long run, but you'll have less headaches and you'll be gaining a customer for life. And so, it really, working on your business and doing the right thing is where you're evolving. The evolving in your culture actually comes down to everything we're talking about, the cycle of a business. It's like, the Lion King, cycle of life. Well, there's a cycle to business. It starts with you, your management, then your employees, and then the new hires. So let's talk about the new hires. I suggest that you make a couple videos on your phone about you talking about your business and maybe throw a couple little employee testimonials. And that's what you go put on Indeed for your little video. If you can hire someone to do it, great. But no, everybody has an iPhone or a Samsung or something right now that can make a video. Just make a 1 to 1.5 minute video about your business. And so this is what we do. So this is how you hire people. This is where you're building your culture. So when I'm hiring someone, I have a nice ad, and my ad does not talk about being a chimney company till 3 or 4 paragraphs down. I'm talking about, do you want to come work for a great company? Do you want a company that cares for you? You want a company that will pay you more than you're worth? Do you want a career advancement spelled out for you day one, where you'll be in 5 years? I'm saying all this kind of stuff. I don't even talk about getting on a ladder till, like I said, the 4th, 5th paragraph. And then I hit them up with the questions. Well, you got to make sure you climb on a roof and blah, blah, blah. So we throw that ad out on Facebook, and then they message us. Well, we do not ask them for an interview. We talk to them through Messenger. We just type, texting through that, and we just start having a conversation with them. And we wait for them to ask us for an interview. And if they're the right kind of people, then we do that. Okay? So that's how we start. Then you send them the video. So if they pass that, then you send them your employee video. It's all about your culture, right? All of a sudden they got a little bit about you, what you do, how you do it. Doesn't matter if you're a plumber or electrician or you're looking for a certified anybody. You're trying to find someone that could be an apprentice. Maybe they're already certified. You're trying to show them who we are. Who are we? Because we want them to come on board. We want them to eventually beat their chest with me. We want them to have whatever's in their soul running through their blood like is running through mine in our business. Okay, so you send that. Now they've watched the video. You ask them, okay, let's do an interview. So you do the interview. Now you talk about everything in the video. You talk about all the stuff. And you barely even talk about the job. You get through right away. Can you climb on a roof? If you have any kind of, things you need to know they can or can't do, you bring it up. And then keep going. And talk about what it's like to work here. And we're real. So you do that. Once you've gotten through all of that, then, okay, you have that person-to-person Zoom call, phone call, whatever, and talk to them, Now, if you're looking for a salesperson, in our business, we come up with profiles, and we make sure they fit the profile. If they don't fit the profile, we're not hiring them. But their profile might fit to be a technician, so we offer them a different job. Whatever job that they're hiring for, they got to fit that profile. If they're coming for the call center, they got to be an SC, something like that. That means they're caring and they're very good at paperwork. If they're going to be a salesperson, they're going to be a DIS, a DIC, DSC, something in that range. That's a good salesperson. If you want a shop guy, a warehouse guy, you want a CS. And so, just these are the things. That was all from DISC. I'm DISC certified, and it just dramatically helps the chance of who you hire to succeed because their personality is going to fit the job description. Okay, so we have this little system on how to hire. Go do a video once a week. You must be having a meeting every week. You got to have a meeting every week with everybody. And as you go through it, you'll start departmentalizing the meetings. But you must have a meeting, and you spend 5 minutes on culture. That's it. Show a 2-3 minute video, talk about it, move on. You'll start seeing a change. And when you start feeling it, not seeing it, it's there. So the last thing here is that the bottom line here, a strong culture leads to better performance and happier employees. It's just a fact. And so there are many ways to do it, but involve communication and engagement in this. Show them that video once a week. Talk about it. Watch the video yourself. Maybe you don't have time, but then give the bullet points of the video. I don't care. But the strong culture will lead you to better numbers. So just make it intentional to start working on it this week. So that is our time. I really love the culture stuff I'm doing right now. I hope that you guys are enjoying it. Strong culture leads to better performance and happier employees. Let's just face it. And I know it. I've done it. When you start doing it, it's literally going to make a difference in your numbers, as well as you enjoying working more at your work because people are working there from their heart, not from their minds. All right, take care, guys, and we will see you next week. And thanks again for coming here. I hope you go get some trouble with this information. Just go try, do it in the meeting for 5 minutes. God bless.